Okay, today we're going to do experimental probability. This is going to be your theory for today. This is going to be a video that you can come back to at all times to check out how you're going, just to make sure that you're doing the right method and you've got the right formula. So, experimental probability. Experimental probability of an event is defined by the following rule. The probability, which is this PR bit here, of an event. Can be whatever you're testing, whether you're looking for heads when you're flipping a coin, tails, etc. And then here we have a formula. So the number of times the event occurred over the number of trials. So say if you were to flip a coin 10 times, that would be the number of trials. If heads was your probability, your event that you're after was heads, happened 5 times, it would be 5 over 10. What I would like you to do now is just make sure that you have this here in your maths book, please, and ensuring that it's under the heading experimental probability. This would be a good little area for you to come back to. So just quickly jot this down into your maths book. Okay, this is our first example. In a survey conducted among 800 students to find out whether Saturday should be a normal school day, 350 students voted yes and 450 voted no. What is the probability that a student chosen at random said no? So, what we need to do for this is we need to, first of all, put up the formula. So, probability of, we're after no here, so I'm going to write the word no, equals the desired outcomes over the total. Okay, now if we look here, we look for the total first. It's going to be 800 because this first sentence, it's among 800 students. So first of all, we just put 800 down. Excellent. Now the desired outcomes. Now the desired outcomes links to our event. So in this case we're after no. If we look up here, the second part, it says here that 450 students voted no. So we're going to end up having 450 over 800. Now what we need to do to work out probability, if we remember when we're looking at probability, we're looking at a scale between 0 and 1. Okay, and anywhere on that scale we can have our probability occur. So in order to work out where between 0 and 1 it is, we put into our calculator 450 divided by 800. That will give us the total of 0.5625. Check to make sure that you've got the same answer. And another thing just to be aware of is that when we're going to work with probability, we're going to work to 4 decimal places. So just keep that in mind, 4 decimal places. If we work into 4 decimal places, remember we look to the 5th. If it's above 5, we take the next one up, or if it's below, we just wipe it down. Okay, make sure that you have that into your book there, that first example. If you need to, you can pause the video to make sure that you get it in there. Okay, the next example is this one here. Funky Gear have exported 6 batches of clothing in the last week, specified in the following table. Okay, you can see there batch numbers 1 through to 6 and specific number of clothing underneath those batches. So 3 parts to this. We've got A, B and C. So if clothing is selected at random, what is the probability that is from batch 4? So before we even start any of this, what we need to do is we actually need to work out what our total number of pieces of clothing are. Because remember, we're after the total amount. So we need to add all those up. So what I want you to do in your calculator now is to add 300, 250, 270, 240, 220 and 280. Hopefully, when you've done that, you end up with a total of 1,560. Okay, so this is our total that we're going to work from for our 3 problems here now. So the first one we're going to look at is batch 4. So we need to identify batch 4, and batch 4 has 240 items of clothing. So here we're going to go probability of something from batch 4 is going to be the desired outcomes over the total, and in this case it's going to be 240 over 1,560. Okay, what is that going to equal as a decimal? Remember back, we need to go 240 divided by 1,560 into your calculator, and you should end up with a total of 0.1538. Just double check that to make sure I'm right. Could be wrong. If I am, you win a chocolate frog. But remember, always follow those same principles. So the probability of selecting an item from batch 4 for A is 0.1538. So this here is A. Okay, let's go back and have a look at B now. Remember, if you've missed these couple of things, because I'm moving quite quickly, you can always pause and make sure that you are getting this information into your book. Okay, batch 6 this time. So this time we're going to look at 280. 280 is going to be our desired amount of outcomes. So, first of all, probability, one from batch 6 equals the desired over the total. Okay, and in this case it equals 280 over 1,560. Now remember, same as what we did up the top here. This time I'm going to go 280 divided by 1,560, and if you are putting these into your calculator properly, you should end up with a total of 0.1795. Okay, always remember we work into 4 decimal places each time. 4 decimal places. If I can spell decimal places. Excellent. So we've done the first 2 problems. Make sure you've got all that copied in. Now we're going to go back. We've done those first 2. Now we're going to move on to the last one here. So the last 3 batches. Now in order to work out the last 3 batches, we need to add the last 3 batches together, because we're going to be finding a total of a desired outcome, of the total number of these last 3 batches. We need to add those together. So in your calculator, 240, 220 and 280, you should end up with a desired of 740. Okay, now let's just add a slide in here. So the probability of the last 3 equals the desired over the total. Okay, we just worked out that it was 740 over a total of 1,560. Remember, the total isn't changing throughout this. This 1,560 doesn't change. Now think back, put into your calculator 740 and divided by 1,560, and you should be ending up with a total of 0.4744. Okay, remember that, 4 decimal places always is what we're going to work to, and if you've done that, then you're doing well. Just make sure you've got all that into your book, those examples. Remember, you can pause it if you need to, and if you need any extra help, always ask.